Okay, this is our daily study of Pirkei Avot, the Mishnah Ethics of the Fathers. For those who have yahrzeit for tonight, the 11th of Tammuz, Joe Berkson, Chaya Goldman, Max Klinnock, Aaron Lieberman, Alexander Margolis, Shmuel Schultz, Celia Straff, and Aaron Weil. May their memory be for a blessing. A link to the text of the Mishnah will be in the first comment below. We are at chapter 4, Mishnah 15. Very important statement in the first half of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yanai Omer, Ein biyadenu lo mishalvas harashayim va'af lo miysurei hatzadikim. Rabbi Yanai said, "It is not in our hands to explain either the serenity of the wicked or the sufferings of the righteous." Just a powerful theological statement of humility and doubt. That's very important for everyone to, I think, internalize in this day and age, that we simply do not understand why it is that you see wicked people who prosper and righteous people who suffer. How is there justice in the world? And Rabbi Yanai's teaching is, I don't know. I find that kind of fascinating, right? Because sometimes, a statement of a rabbi might be plucked out of an hour-long lecture that he gave. And someone asked him a question, why is it that righteous people suffer sometimes and wicked people prosper? And he answered, you know what, I'm really not sure. And that itself would be noteworthy. But the statements in Pirkei Avot are the maxims that these rabbis lived by. It's not something that was just taken out of context. This is what he wanted to be known for posterity. And the teaching that he gave for posterity is an example of something that he doesn't know. So it's kind of almost funny, like, so what are you adding to the conversation if I wanted to play devil's advocate? Like, thanks a lot, Rabbi Hanai. Your maxim that you live by is, I don't understand this theological issue, why the righteous suffer and the wicked prosper. But that itself is what makes it so profound. Yeah, that is itself a lesson of theological humility. Don't try to understand it. We simply don't. But clearly, the implication of Rabbi Yanai is he's still a rabbi and he's still a person of faith, and it's not going to deter us from practicing our faith. There's a Yiddish expression, I'm going to butcher it probably, from a kasha starfmanish, which means you don't die from a question. That's a typical rabbinic view. There's certain things we don't understand, the interplay between free choice and fate. God knows what you're going to do, but you still choose to do it. This is another one. Why do bad things happen to good people? The ultimate theological question that every theologian in religion has not really been able to properly answer. And Rabbi Yanai's lesson is, okay, we don't know. Let's move on. We have things to do. We have a world to repair. We have Torah to study. And so we're not going to let that question paralyze us, and we're not going to let it undermine our faith, because there's so many other reasons in terms of just the wonder that you have looking into the world, and to have faith in God and the necessity of belief in God, that we don't let a few pesky questions deter us. So that itself is so profound, the humility that's implicit in that. Now, one of the standard theological answers given, the Kahati quotes the commentaries to this problem, is that this is why we believe in an afterlife, because we do believe in reward and punishment. So if you don't see a righteous person reaping their reward in this world, it's because God is going to save it for them in the afterlife. Similarly, if you see a wicked person who lived a good life in this world, you can be sure that God will punish them in Gehenna, which is hell. And I keep saying we don't have eternal damnation, but we have a rehabilitative hell where you have to spend a little time being cleansed before you can graduate and move on. But that's still not so satisfactory, because you could answer, well, why didn't they get their justice in this world? Why does God reserve it for the afterlife? One of the answers to that could be the free choice of other people, right? So if a righteous person suffers because other people mistreated him, well, God can intervene in the free choices of others, right? It's not God who brought the suffering upon him. It's unfortunately other people, but God will repay the person. And unfortunately, the same thing for the wicked. If other people gave honor and wealth and all sorts of good things to this wicked person, that's the choices of those people in that society, the unfortunate choices. But right, we can delve into the questions, but Rabbi Yanai's brilliance is like none of those are going to be entirely satisfactory. So in the end of the day, you just have to say, we can't completely understand it. That's what I think you have to understand him. We can try, we can talk about it, very interesting conversation, but we'll never be able to completely understand it, and that's actually fine. As Jews, we live in that struggle, with that theological struggle, and we don't let it deter us. Okay. So the next part of the Mishnah, Rabbi Masya ben Charash Omer, Hevi makdim b'shlom kol adam v'hevi zanav la'arayos v'al tihi rosh l'shualim. Rabbi Masya ben Charash said, "Be the first to greet every person, and be a tail unto lions and not a head unto foxes." So, Rabbi Masya, we have a lot in the Pirkei Avot about greetings. Greet everyone with a pleasant countenance, greet everyone with a happy countenance, different rabbis said. Now, Rabbi Masya ben Charash is saying, greet everyone first. Always be proactive. Sometimes you see someone in the street and you want to avoid them because you're shy or whatever, but no, always be the friendlier person and say, how you doing? Okay, just good advice, and that'll make for a more friendly society. And then finally, he says, be a tail unto lions rather than a head unto foxes. Is it better to be the best person in your group or the worst person? So he's saying it's actually better to be a tail unto lions. And we've seen a lot of Pirkei Avot that's about association with good people, that'll rub off on you. So I think that's what's going on here. So you're a tail unto lions if you're like the lowest in your peer group in terms of wisdom and goodness. Well, that's good because those people will only lift you up, and it's good to associate with good people. But if you're so great, you're never going to be challenged. You associate with people who you're the wisest and you're the most moral. That's not necessarily good for you because you won't be pushed to become even better. Okay, with that, we will say the El Maleh. El Maleh Rachamim Shochein Bamiromim Hamatzei Menucha Nechon Al Kanfei HaShechina B'Malos Kedoshim Tahorim Kizor Harakia Mazhirim Es Nishmos Kol Haskaros Shel Halayla Shel Chuli Olamam Ba'avur Shemispalim Bad Haskaras Nishmasam B'Gan Eden Tei Menuchasam L'chein Bal Harachamim Yastireim B'Seiser Kenafav Liolamim Yitzror B'Tzorachayim Es Nishmasam Adonai Unachlasam Yanucha B'Shalom Mishkvasam and Omar Amen. And in English, O God, full of mercy, who dwells on high, grant proper rest on the wings of the divine presence, in the lofty levels of the holy and pure, who shine like the glow of the firmament, for the souls of Joe Berkson, Chaya Goldman, Max Klinok, Aaron Lieberman, Alexander Margolis, Shmuel Schultz, Celia Straff, and Aaron Weil, in whose memory we study and pray. Therefore, may the Master of Mercy shelter them in the shelter of his wings for eternity. May he bind their soul in the bond of life. Hashem is their heritage. May they rest in peace. And let us say Amen.